Hey there guys, welcome back to another video. So in this video on our 3.2 subtopics, we're going to be looking at subsidies. Okay, so if you've watched the video on indirect taxes, essentially subsidies are kind of just the opposite of that. So instead of a cost per unit being a tax being put on per unit, some money will be given to the firm per unit. Okay, so what that's going to mean, guys, is it's going to mean that our cost of production is going to decrease. Okay, so our cost of production is going to decrease. All right, so just like with our indirect tax, when the cost of production increases and our curve shifts to the left, or it shifts up, our curve is going to shift down. Okay, and it's going to shift to the right. All right, so drawing another line in there, guys. We'll make it a bit. Alrighty, we're just going to call that line S1 plus subsidy. Alrighty guys, so now that there's a new supply line, there's a new equilibrium. Okay, so we're going to draw that in now. Alrighty. Okay, so price over there and our quantity over there. So guys, just looking at that here, there's been an increase in our quantity. Okay, our quantity that's being sold has increased, while at the same time our price has decreased. Okay. So when we look at these two lines here, guys, our subsidy and our original supply line and our supply line plus our subsidy, this whole area in here, guys, this whole area in here, whole way down, is going to be the cost of the subsidy per unit. Okay, so what does that mean? So just a quick, nice, straightforward example, guys. If we were to say have this to be, let's say public transport. Okay, I don't know where you guys are from, but let's just say all public transport costs $2 no matter the trip or the location. Okay, so the government could give a subsidy of $1, okay, to incentivize public transport, which is actually the market we're looking at here. Okay, so that subsidy would be $1. So this line in here would be $1. I'll try and make that a bit more neat. So that subsidy in there would be $1. Okay. So yeah, we'll get rid of that now and we'll get on to the rest of our analysis. Actually, we'll just reverse that all up. I don't know why I did that. Alrighty, guys. So, okay, so guys, remembering that because all of this area in here is going to be that cost per unit, that the producers are going to be getting this cost per unit for every good, okay? Even the goods that they're willing to produce at a lower price. So what that means is that their producer surplus is going to increase to this whole area here. Okay, quite a large area. They're going to have see a very large increase in producer surplus. Okay, consumers meanwhile are going to also see a large increase in consumer surplus. The difference between what they're willing and able to pay is going to increase. Okay, so it's going to come all the way down here to the new price, P2. The government is going to have to pay a decent bit more, right, guys? So this area that we see in here, as I'm sure a few of you guys will have predicted if you'd watched the video on indirect taxes, because it's quite similar to our indirect taxes, right, guys? So this area in here is also going to include it's going to be the government cost. Okay, this area in here is going to be our government cost. Okay. So when we have a subsidy, we also have a deadweight loss, okay? And the reason we have a deadweight loss, guys, is essentially because the benefit is greater than the cost, okay? So that what the government has put in, the cost that the government's spending on the subsidy is going to be greater than the benefit, okay? It's a little bit confusing to wrap your head around. I might make a separate video on this altogether, but essentially, guys, although producer and consumer surplus have increased, it's more than offset by the increase in government costs, okay? Which means that both the consumer and producer surplus are no longer maximized, okay? So that's a very confusing concept. I'll go through it a little bit more in the exam walkthroughs, and I'll potentially do another video just on it entirely. But essentially, guys, this little box, this little triangle right in here, that little triangle in there is going to be dead weight lost, meaning that even though the consumer and producer surplus have increased, there's still going to be a decrease in allocative efficiency, okay? So that's quite a confusing topic to get your head around. I'll go through it into a bit more depth in the exam walkthroughs. But essentially, guys, thinking about who's better off and who's worse off, our consumers, okay, they're going to be better off, all right? Thinking, guys, because they're going to have to pay a lower price for their good, in this case, public transport, which is good news for them, okay? Their consumer surplus has increased, which is great. Coming on to our producers, they're going to see a higher quantity of people purchasing the good, which is good for them. They're also going to see their producer surplus increase from the help of the subsidy, which is going to increase their revenues, most likely their profits, which is good for them as well. The government, it's good and bad. So obviously that their revenues are going to increase. Okay, guys, their revenues are going to increase. My apologies. Their costs getting mixed up with indirect taxes. Their costs are going to increase, which isn't great for them. If they're trying to solve a market failure and that subsidy does that, it does solve the market failure, then that's great news for them, which could be a positive for the government. Additionally, it could also be a positive in the sense that they're kind of helping people out with the affordability of a good, could be helping out their communities, their voters, stuff like that, which would always be good for the government, okay? So yeah, guys, that kind of wraps up the subsidies topic. I'll definitely go into it a lot more depth in the exam walkthrough, so stay tuned for those coming out soon. But yeah, all the best, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the videos.